The data lake data analytics system consists of two primary components. One is, I'll call the analytics pipeline, and the other is data governance. In the analytics pipeline, we ingest data and do some things with it and create reports or visualizations. In the data governance side, this keeps track of the data, controls who has access to it, and it is a sophisticated system that I'll talk about in a little bit. So in the analytics pipeline, we get data from its source somewhere in a university system, whether it's on campus or in a service. We capture metadata. We can do traditional data science things like cleaning the data or transforming it into new types of data models. And then we store that transformed data, and then the visualization step is there. So that first step is to replicate the source data. We take it from a source system or service and bring it into AWS, either into a relational database, if its source is a relational database, or AWS's S3 service, simple storage service. And AWS has a system called AWS Glue. And AWS Glue has a component which will crawl that data and gather metadata about what type of data is coming in. So it will capture a field name or a column name, and it will try to determine the type of data that's in that column, whether it's an integer or a string or something like that. And then it stores that data into a metastore. It's actually an Apache Hive metastore. And it's also stored in this data governance module, which I spoke about, which is called Calibra, and I'll speak more about that in a moment. AWS Glue is actually based on the open source Apache Spark platform. And this was developed at the University of California at Berkeley. And it's a very powerful data analytics platform that works in a cluster environment and can process huge amounts of data. And it's programmable in Java or Python on the AWS system, and we use Python. The scripts that we develop are done with Python Jupyter notebooks. The data transformation is there, so these scripts will operate on this data. We use Git to store the scripts, and we use a CI/CD pipeline to trigger actions that need to be taken on a scheduled basis. The transformations take place. The output is created. Metadata about that output is again stored in Calibra and in the Hive metadata system, and then stored in the output either relational database or AWS simple storage service. And then that data is available to the visualization system. We have chosen initially the Qlik data visualization product. It's very similar to Tableau. It's a lot less expensive than Tableau, but Qlik is able to make a variety of very powerful visualizations. It has a very powerful scripting language, so you can do all kinds of things. There is a component for embedding like a dashboard on web pages, so it's a very diverse and powerful system. We can also generate CSV or relational databases as output, so people can use whatever visualization or analytical system of choice. So they could take the CSV and import it into Excel, or if they happen to have Tableau, they can use Tableau to do the data visualization. On the data governance side, we purchased the product called Calibra, and it has a wide variety of features. One has to do with metadata. There's a catalog that is searchable, so you can go, a user of it can go search for data that they might be looking for. There's a dictionary, which has semantics of data, so you want to understand what that column contains. You can go look in the dictionary and see the semantics of what's in that column. It also has provenance of the data, the history, how it's changed over time, new columns added, the meaning of a column changed. That's what provenance is about. Stewardship, so the data owners can manage their data and the meanings in the data dictionaries. It has the ability to represent arbitrary organizations, so we can represent the different business offices of the university, and there are different roles that can be represented in the organization, such as data steward and data owner. There are, as I mentioned, a variety of workflows which those roles participate in for things like approval to access to data. The system supports data usage agreements, so if you're looking for permission to access data, you can describe how you're going to use that data, and it's kind of a contract between the user and the business owner, and is part of the approval process. As I mentioned, it controls access rights. And it has a search function, so as we get more and more data from the university into the system, you'll be able to search for data that you might be interested in. And finally, it has a data help desk component. So if you've looked for something and you can't find it, you can open a ticket in that system, and somebody will help you with the problem. We have about 2 minutes left. Is there any questions?
Ready? You probably know I'm going to ask this. So when are we going to have it available for protected health information?
We're hoping that sometime this fall we would be able to support some protective health information in the environment. We're not there yet, but we're planning for it. Any other questions? Thank you.
So I'm just curious, with the Click, is that something that's available to CWRU faculty and
Yeah, actually, Click, you can get a version that is free and load it on your personal system and analyze data that might be in your local drives. In order to use the Click applications that are in the data lake, we pay a license fee. It's something like $40 a month. So it's very inexpensive compared to about $1,000 a year for a license for Tableau. Any other questions? Thank you.